Baoping Town is a town on the edge of Jiangqing. It is quaint and retains the characteristics of the old times. It is a very famous jade antique town. All kinds of leaks, reselling. It is the favorite place for liars and poor masters. If you are lucky, you will get rich overnight, and you will go bankrupt if you have bad luck. It can be said to be a legendary gold rush. Of course, for wealthy people like the Qin family, the Su family, and the Chun family, it is impossible to go bankrupt overnight. At most, it is a recreational activity. Yes, Grandpa Su likes these things. Chun Mingming replied with a smile. Su Guofu likes antique calligraphy and painting, and Qin Tian also knows it. After all, people, once you have money, you will start to pursue spiritual things. Playing with antique calligraphy and painting, jade, etc., is not too normal. What kind of poisonous pet? What Wang Wali? What popped rice grain pattern natural pile of gypsophila, walnut? In short, only you can't think of it, and none of these rich people can afford it. Last time Su Yinran's birthday, he sent some antique calligraphy and paintings. This way, you tell her if I have time, I will definitely go. Thinking of this, Qin Tian nodded thoughtfully. The Qin family and Su family's business has reached tens of billions of dollars, so naturally it is impossible to be in one city. There are also many of their industries in Jiangqing. So Su Yinran appeared in Jiangqing. Qin Tian was not very surprised. Now that Su Yinran is the hostess of Chen Mingming has not disappeared. The two heroines are together with their own villain, go to a stone gambling scene where the protagonist likes to pretend to be forced to slap her face. This lineup and location, no matter how you look at it, are the existence of being beaten in the face. Of course, he was beaten in the face, and it has nothing to do with the two heroines. But who is Qin Tian? How about the protagonist Terminator? Not to mention the stone gambling scene. Even if it is Longtan Tiger's den, he can make a break. Sister Yinran, Uncle Qin said he will definitely come. Hearing Qin Tian's words, Chun Mingming ignored the 3 words half time, with a happy face. Really? That's great. Su Yinran was even more delighted. During this time, she was taking over the Su family's affairs. In order to get acquainted with the personnel and work here, I followed Su Guofu and Su Zhengyang 2 days ago. It's just that I didn't expect that Qin Tian also came. After chatting with Chen Mingming a few more words, Su Yinran hung up with a smile on her face. I noticed that my daughter hadn't followed. Su Zhengyang, who was walking ahead and chatting with the general manager of Jiangqing, turned back subconsciously. Yinran, what are you doing? Hurry up. Oh, coming. What's the matter? Laughing so happy? Seeing the rare smile on his daughter's face, Su Zhengyang also laughed. It's nothing. I just heard that Uncle Qin is coming. I was a little happy. Oh, Brother Qin is coming too? That's a good feeling. You talk to Mr. Cui first. I'll call Mr. Qin. Upon hearing Qin Tian's request, Su Zhengyang was a passion. After all, Qin Tian is also his savior. Moreover, at the last Qin Wu's wedding, the scene where Qin Tian took Li Jun to repel the mercenaries, still fresh in his memory. So he was very satisfied with this old Brother Qin. It's just that he approved, but Su Yinran was upset. I heard my father called Qin Tian, Brother Qin. I don't know why. She always feels twisted. On the other side, when Qin Tian received a call from Su Zhengyang, he couldn't help but laugh. Is this Su Zhengyang too enthusiastic? Screaming from a younger brother? Uncle Qin, you just said you want to find someone. Who are you looking for? Read more at hopfulnovel.xyz. Seeing Qin Tian hung up the phone, Chun Mingming spoke in time. Don't ask so much, just keep up. Right. Chun Mingming's eyes rolled. By the way, Uncle Qin, would you like to take my car? Qin Tian glanced at Chen Mingming's Harley locomotive. You don't have any seats in this car. How can you sit? I'm afraid I have to throw my old bones out of a sharp turn, right? Where is Uncle Qin getting old? And my driving skills are very good. You hold my waist. I promise not to throw you out. Chun Mingming patted his well-developed chest, vowing to promise. Hold your waist? Oh, forget it. I think my classic car is very good. Laoli will drive. Qin Tian said without speaking, and did not give Chen Mingming a chance at all. As an veteran driver of Chongming Shan, what is Chen Mingming thinking and why doesn't he know? It's just that he doesn't lack women, and he feels a little indifferent to the newly developed little girl like Chun Mingming. So go find Duan Xiaoyu. Although it's already summer vacation, Yi Xian's background information contains only Duan Xiaoyu's basic information, not her home address. But Qin Tian had already sent someone to investigate Duan Xiaoyu's situation, so he knew where Duan Xiaoyu lived in Jiangqing. Who are you looking for? Seeing a Rolls Royce appeared in front of him, Zhang Lian looked surprised. She is also a small town next to Jiangqing, and she is the neighbor who raised Duan Xiaoyu. There are usually a lot of cars coming and going, but such an expensive car has never been parked in front of a house. She didn't know any Rolls Royce, and she didn't know any Double R Flying Goddess. But this car is very valuable at first glance. I'm looking for Duan Xiaoyu. I'm a friend of his elder brother Duan Tian. Oh, Duan Tian's friend? Hearing Qin Tian's words, although Zhang Lian was also very surprised, but Qin Tian could say Duan Tian's name, she had no doubts. Xiaoyu hasn't come back yet. Should I call her? Seeing that Qin Tian is so rich, Zhang Lian dare not neglect. Also, with Qin Tian's consent, Zhang Lian quickly dialed the phone. It's just that no one answered the phone call, which made her a little puzzled. But she didn't think too much, could only let Qin Tian wait. Qin Tian was not in a hurry, and asked Laoli to leave the car in the parking space, and led everyone to Zhang Lian's home and sat down. About an hour later, in the distance, a girl wearing a black, tight-fitting sleeveless t-shirt, short leather pants and short boots, chewing gum, walked back. Zhang Lian hurriedly greeted her. Xiaoyu, where have you been? Why didn't you come back so late? I didn't answer the call. I was drinking with a few sisters just now, but I didn't hear. What's the matter? Aunt Jiang, what's the matter? Duan Xiaoyu has exquisite features and is not tall, only 158. Fayu is relatively normal, neither too big nor too small. It's just short hair, a chain on his belt, and he looks like a fool. It's not like a high school student at all. Someone looking for you. Someone is looking for me? Duan Xiaoyu was even more curious. Under Zhang Lian's guidance, she quickly met Qin Tian who were waiting in the living room. Hey, who are you? Why are you looking for me? Duan Xiaoyu looked impatient. These people don't know any of them. Qin Tian waved his hand at will. Li Jun and Wang Yi euphemistically drove out the master Zhang Lian. The crowd occupied the magpie's nest. It doesn't matter who I am. The important thing is that I know who you are. Your name is Duan Xiaoyu. You are 17 years old this year, and you have an older brother named Duan Tian, right? So what? Qin Tian also didn't care. Do you know what your brother does? Do not know. Duan Xiaoyu was taken aback for a moment, then shook his head blankly. That forget it. I won't tell you anymore. In short, you just need to know that the work your brother does is dangerous. At the same time, I have offended many people. Now someone is looking at you. That's why I'm here. Are you here to protect me? Hearing this, Duan Xiaoyu also realized something. Almost. Some time ago, was there anyone named Yixin looking for you? Have. Hearing that Qin Tian could know even Yixin, Duan Xiaoyu also let go of the guard in his heart. It's just that Qin Tian's next words surprised her whole person. He broke the law now and went to jail. So, you are not safe now? What? Are you going for summer vacation now? Pack your things and go with me. You don't want to come back for 2 months during the good summer vacation? No, uncle. We only met for the first time. So you let me go with you? Who knows if you were traffickers? Hee, the little girl is quite wary. Qin Tian couldn't help but smiled, and then slowly said, when you just came back, did you see the car in the yard? I saw it. Do you know any brand? Rolls-Royce? Not bad. Qin Tian said lightly, the price of the naked car is more than 8 million. Do you think? Can you be worth more than 8 million? It makes sense, but I'm speechless. Okay, but is there any advantage for me to go with you? What good do you want? I think you are quite rich. Can you give me a locomotive of that style? Duan Xiaoyu pointed to Chen Mengming's locomotive in the yard. Qin Tian nodded casually, yes. Really? It's true. Then I'll go with you. Ding, successfully abducted one of the heroines, Duan Xiaoyu, and gained plus 500 as the villain, and the protagonist, Yixin's luck value minus 100. Abduction? What am I? Don't say it's so ugly, okay? Duan Xiaoyu has an older brother named Duan Tian. The two did not know who their parents were since they were young. She was raised and taken care of by her brother Duan Tian. But when she was 8 years old, Duan Tian went out to work normally, but because of this, she never went back. The 8-year-old has been alone since then. It can be said that she barely survived thanks to the care of her kind neighbor Zhang Lian. At first she thought she would go on like this by herself from now on. Unexpectedly, 2 years later, a letter from her brother was sent back to her neighbor. Because Zhang Lian did not have her own children, she not only did not abuse her, but also raised her as her own daughter. With Zhang Lian's help, she knew that her brother was still alive. After the two brothers and sisters got in touch, they also started talking by letter. Later, communication developed, and the communication method of correspondence gradually became the telephone. With the phone, Duan Tian will also send some money back to improve his life from time to time. Only then can Duan Xiaoyu have the money to go to high school. Due to lack of parental discipline since childhood, he has another brother who can beat him. So in order not to be bullied by other classmates, her life path is even worse than Chen Mengming's. I remember that when I first saw Yixin, she didn't catch a cold with Yixin. Thinking that Yixin is not close to him, why should he be in charge of himself? But after seeing Yixin run off a few punks, she admired Yixin very much. But Yixin stayed here for 2 days before going to Tumen, so they can only be regarded as acquaintances, not familiar. At this time, hearing Qin Tian say this, she didn't believe it all, but half of it. Because most people don't know the names of their brother and Yixin at the same time. After packing up his things, Duan Xiaoyu put on his backpack, say hello to Zhang Lian, and then came to the yard. Hey, sister, what's your name?
Duan Xiaoyu located at Chen Mengming.
Chen Mengming. This locomotive is yours? Of course. So cool. Duan Xiaoyu looked at Chen Mengming's motorcycle with envious expression, and his hand stroked across the body uncontrollably. Do you want to sit down? Chen Mengming grinned, with a smug look on his face. Will you take me? Duan Xiaoyu didn't hesitate at all. She was originally more rebellious. How can she control her inner excitement when she sees such a cool motorcycle? Go, sister will take you for a drive. Chen Mengming is so proud. Hey, interesting. Uncle Qin, I'll take her away first. Chen Mengming took out the spare helmet and threw it to Duan Xiaoyu. Well, let's go first. Qin Tian waved his hand speechlessly. It seems that it is right to bring Chen Mengming here. Without the girl like Chen Mengming, I'm afraid it would take some work if I wanted to take away the problem girl Duan Xiaoyu. Boom. The motorcycle's engine galloped away with a sound. Qin Tian smiled helplessly, and then directed Lao Li to follow. In fact, with Duan Xiaoyu leaving, Qin Tian didn't need to come in person. One reason for coming here in person is because he wanted to relax and walk around recently. Another reason is that this girl is of great use. He had to come over first and get a familiar face with this girl. Duan Xiaoyu has short hair and dress even more non-mainstream than Chen Mengming. If it wasn't for the high school that does not allow tattoos, age, it is estimated that she would have tattooed. In other words, this is a serious problem girl. Read more at Hotball Novel, XYZ. According to the situation of the two, Qin Tian can know that Chen Mengming's circle is much higher than Duan Xiaoyu's circle. Chen Mengming's family was originally rich. It belongs to the type that you can play whatever you want. Duan Xiaoyu's brother wanted to explain the source of the money, and at the same time, he was afraid that she would spend money indiscriminately and form bad habits. So every time she called her and Zhang Lian, the money was very limited. It belongs to an ordinary family with just enough money and a little surplus. In this case, she would still be contaminated by the big dye tank of society, and she would have no resistance to money. Originally, when Yixin came back, he wanted to teach her to go the right way, and from time to time, he took her brother's money to give her a little bit of sweetness. Slowly let her change from a problem girl to an excellent student with excellent grades. But now, Yixin was pitted into prison by Qin Tian, and Qin Tian has no habit of educating children for others. So he just took 100,000 yuan to Zhang Lian and took Duan Xiaoyu away. What? Yixin asked the police for help? Let the police help protect Duan Xiaoyu? Do not make jokes. The police handle the aftermath. They are only responsible for investigating the case after Duan Xiaoyu's accident. How could it be possible to waste police power to do this kind of defensive bodyguard work? And even those few mercenaries would not think that Qin Tian, a dignified billionaire, would come to deal with Duan Xiaoyu. How would they send someone to protect it? After leaving Duan Xiaoyu's house, Qin Tian took everyone and ate a meal casually. Duan Xiaoyu, who was still a little worried, saw that Qin Tian's normal meals were all 5-star hotel standards. I was also relieved. This person is so rich, he shouldn't cheat himself. Duan Xiaoyu thought of this. Qin Tian doesn't care what she thinks. He never thought of abducting her anyway. The body is not afraid of the shadow leaning. After dinner, I took everyone around at random. Then under the leadership of Chen Mingming, the group rushed to Baoping Town. Sister Ming, can I ask you a question? On the motorcycle, Duan Xiaoyu was sitting in the back seat, holding Chen Mingming's waist and speaking. After a whole afternoon of contact, the two who had some problems seem to have a better relationship, and Chen Mingming clearly occupies a dominant position. You asked. The motorcycle is not fast, so the two can communicate normally. Do you like that handsome uncle? Duan Xiaoyu asked with a puzzled look. Qin Tian is handsome, there is no doubt about it. However, his handsomeness is not the handsome of Xiao Beilian, but the kind of handsome that is very mature and deep. So Duan Xiaoyu is called Uncle Qin Tian handsome. There is nothing wrong with this. I remember that when eating at noon, Chen Mingming had been pulling Qin Tian to talk. When shopping in the afternoon, it was also Chen Mingming who forced Qin Tian to go. Is it so obvious? Chen Mingming looked puzzled. Isn't that obvious enough? Duan Xiaoyu was full of black lines. The heart said that he was not blind. Hee, it seems right, you guessed it, I just like him. Chen Mingming admitted generously. Uncle Qin is handsome, mature, and versatile. Such a man, a girl would like it, right? I don't like this? Duan Xiaoyu said bluntly. Chen Mingming was curious. Oh, what do you like? The boy I like, in addition to being handsome and rich, has to be able to fight like my brother, otherwise how can I protect me? I have to say that little girls can dream. Just having money has already killed 90% of men in seconds. Still want to be handsome? Isn't it a dream? After hearing Duan Xiaoyu's words, Chen Mingming smiled disdainfully. You are right, but Uncle Qin is also good at fighting. I don't dare to say too much, at least better than Yixian's fear of death. Thinking of the completely different performances of Yixian and Qin Tian on Qin Wu's wedding day, she couldn't help but contempt Yixian. Yixian was so afraid of death, but Qin Tian dared to rush downstairs with Li Jun. The two completely different performances made her admire Qin Tian even more. Obviously, the current Chen Mingming still doesn't know that Qin Tian gave Yixian into the prison. No, can he be better than Yixian? Why lie to you? Two little girls are sitting on the motorcycle, discussing Qin Tian on Rolls-Royce. Chen Mingming kept expressing his admiration for Qin Tian, and Duan Xiaoyu became more curious about Qin Tian as he listened. Because in the mouth of Chen Mingming, Qin Tian is omnipotent. Not only is handsome, rich, but also good at playing piano and curing diseases. Even good at playing? She could hardly believe that there would be such a perfect person in this world. But now she has not been in contact with a few people for a long time. It's not good to comment too much, so I can only sit silently behind the locomotive, listening to Chen Mingming boasting of Qin Tian's great achievements in front. With the passage of time, a group of 5 people quickly arrived at this destination. When Qin Tian arrived here, it was only 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Baoping Town is a small town on the edge of Jiangxing. Antique, archway, tiled room, small attic. On both the left and right sides, I bought antique and ancient jade. There are a lot of vendors coming and going here. Cries, shouts, whispers endlessly. Brother, do you want to buy one and try your luck? As soon as they drove into the small town and parked the car, everyone got off the car and didn't take a few steps. A vendor stopped Qin Tian and his party. Qin Tian turned his head and took a look. The vendor took the opportunity to hand a rough stone the size of a bowl to Qin Tian's hands. Look at it, brother. This stone is in excellent condition, and you can earn money by buying blood for keeping it. Qin Tian doesn't know how to bet on stones, so after taking a closer look, he is ready to put it back for the other party. But just when he was about to put it back, a line of words appeared before his eyes. Rough jadeite, 4,923 grams, worth 300 to 800 xiaogui yuan. Qin Tian. Is this the new feature of the villain's eye? Looking at this line of words that suddenly appeared, Qin Tian had a strange expression on his face. After solving Yi Chun, his villain's eyes evolved once. According to common sense, after the eyes evolve, there will be more new functions. Just like the first evolution, from seeing the basic personal information of the people around you, it has evolved into the personal details of anyone within 3 meters. It can be said that there has been a lot of progress, but Qin Tian didn't know what the ability evolved later this time. Originally, he always thought it was aimed at people, so his previous experiments were conducted on people. Unexpectedly, what evolved was actually, sure enough, this villain is the nemesis of the protagonist? Can even these special abilities be completely suppressed? Uncle Qin, would you play this too? Seeing that Qin Tian took the rough stone and looked so carefully, Chen Mingming couldn't help but ask curiously. Qin Tian came back to his senses and raised a smile at the corner of his mouth. Hee, know a little? Boss, how much do you sell this rough stone? 30,000. The boss stretched out 3 fingers and opened his mouth. This F***CK. Do you regard yourself as a fool? Let alone Qin Tian knows the true value of this stone. Just the fineness and weight of this stone can sell for 10,000 yuan at most. Qin Tian shook his head and returned the original stone to the boss. 30,000? Then I will look at it again. Brother, you make a price. If you don't, how can I sell it? The boss still doesn't give up. Forget it. You can keep it and sell it slowly. Qin Tian waved his hand casually. He has a lot of money now, and he is not particularly interested in gambling on rocks. After knowing the true value of this rough stone, he became even less interested. Seeing the appearance of Qin Tian, the boss was also helpless. He took his stone back with an unhappy expression. Qin Tian ignored him, but glanced at the other rough stones on the boss's floor. Suddenly rows of rough prices appeared in Qin Tian's eyes. Rough jadeite, 15,635 grams, true value, 500 to 800 xiaogui yuan. Emerald rough stone, 3,236 grams, worth 30 to 50 Siag yuan. Emerald rough stone, 19,236 grams, worth 100 to 300 Siag yuan. Rough jadeite, 15,635 grams, value, 30,000 to 50,000 Siag yuan. Ordinary pebbles, 7,856 grams, worth 0 Siag yuan. There are pebbles and fish eyes mixed with beads? Qin Tian couldn't help being funny. After blinking, the rough price did not disappear. He closed his eyes again and opened them again 3 seconds later. This time all the prices of the rough stones disappeared. In other words, this function can also be freely switched? Thinking of this, Qin Tian stared at another rough jadeite carefully. The price of the rough stone did not appear this time. How is this going? Qin Tian frowned, recalled in his mind the state when he saw the price for the first time just now. Okay, the price of rough has appeared again. After some testing, Qin Tian also figured out how to use this function. No wonder I haven't noticed it all the time. It turns out that if you want to see the true prices of these gadgets, you don't just have to stare at it like you do when you look at people's information. And I have to keep wondering how much this thing can be worth after this feature is fully turned on. Read more at hotnovel.xyz. Looking at other things, it's clear at a glance. Just like now, Qin Tian only needs to see the value of a rough stone. When you look at other rough stones, you don't need to concentrate. You can see the prices of all rough stones at a glance. Loudly, is this a gambling on rocks? A broken stone can be sold for 30,000? Wang Yi's voice pulled Qin Tian back to reality. He obviously hadn't been to such a place before, so he was more curious. Oldly smiled. Don't underestimate these broken stones. There may be things like jade and emeralds in them. It's just that you don't know if there is any in it, so you need to buy it at a high price. This is the origin of the word gambling on rocks. Lao Li's explanation is simple and easy to understand. In just a few words, the gameplay of gambling on the stone can be summarized. Oh, that's the case. Then why do rich people like to come here? Are they still short of money? Do you know what gambling is? Betting on something big or small is addictive. Really? Hey, I haven't bet any money. I really don't know what it's like to be addicted. Listening to the two chatting, Qin Tian also smiled. At this moment, Chen Mingming's voice came over again. Boss, how much is this stone? The color of this stone is better than the one just now, and it should be bigger, at least 50,000. Okay, I bought it. Chen Mingming said very grandiosely. She has no habit of bargaining when she buys things. Anyway, her family is not short of money. Buying something worth tens of thousands of dollars is not the same as playing. Hearing Chen Mingming's refreshment, the boss' eyes lit up and he immediately became energetic. It has been a long time since he met such a proud buyer. Just before he opened his mouth to let the other party pay, Qin Tian's voice suddenly rang. You can't do that? Chen Mingming was taken aback. How does Uncle Qin know that I am not good? If you must buy it, buy this. Qin Tian ignored her too. After a casual glance, he picked up a large bowl of rough stone in the corner and pretended to weigh it, and then handed it to Chen Mingming. Although he couldn't see what was in these stones, he could see the true value of the jadeite rough. As long as the value is high, there must be something in it. The stone Chen Mingming took looked good on the outside, but it's worth 3 to 5,000. If you spend 50,000 to buy it, you are obviously at a loss. Uncle Qin, the stone you chose looks so ugly. Chen Mingming looked at the rough stone in Qin Tian's hand and said with a look of disgust, the one I chose is big, smooth and shiny, and the piece selected by Qin Tian is not only extremely rough, but also has a weird shape and is not very big. Such a rough stone can really produce something? These are rough stones. When you buy rough stones, don't you look at the contents? Qin Tian glanced at Chen Mingming. Gambling on rocks, good looks, is there a shame? Out of trust in Qin Tian, after Chen Mingming hesitated for a while, he decisively took over the poor-looking stone in Qin Tian's hand. The boss, I bought it together. The wealth is rich, but it's not the same. Qin Tian. Hearing that Qin Tian prevented Chen Mingming from buying things, the boss was originally very upset. But as soon as Chen Mingming said this, the boss' attitude immediately changed back. At this time, he couldn't close his smiling mouth. Haha, beauty is the atmosphere, so be it. This rough stone should have been sold for 10,000, and I will sell you 5,000. 2. A total of 55,000. Pay for beauty or WeChat? Pay. The boss spoke while showing the QR code. Do you want to cut it? Cut. Of course you must cut. Chen Mingming took out his mobile phone and said decisively, and after speaking, he looked towards Qin Tian. Uncle Qin, how are we BB? Is this the real purpose she bought the two together? I have no interest, as long as you are happy. Qin Tian didn't bother to take care of her. The new features obtained with the eyes of the villain can disrupt the entire rock gambling market as long as you think about it. With a little girl who knows nothing about you, what can you compare with me? But Chen Mingming didn't care. After paying the money, she quickly pulled Qin Tian to the shop behind the boss. Cutting stones requires professional tools. In the owner's shop, there are staff members who are responsible for cutting stones. After letting a staff member guard the stall, the boss followed a few people into the shop. After some explanation, the boss began to arrange staff to help cut the stone. The stone was cut with a high-pressure water gun. Duh. As the water knife cut it with one knife, the stone Chen Mingming bought was quickly available. Agate yellow, high quality, but not particularly large. The market price is estimated to be 3 to 5,000. See this agate yellow. In order to alleviate the embarrassment and to avoid trouble with the customers at a loss, the boss hurriedly said 2 scenes. Beauty, you are lucky, at least there is still stock in it. However, Chen Mingming didn't care about the money at all and waved his hand at will. It's okay. You cut Uncle Qin's one quickly. It is good. The boss looked at the rubble, but didn't care, and asked the staff to cut it according to the normal process. Unexpectedly, the staff just finished the first cut, and their hands couldn't help but tremble. My slot, this is... What's happening? Boss, this one is a glass type. What? Jade is divided into many kinds. Most people often think that jade is just green. In fact, it is not, except for the common shades of green. Jade has red, yellow, white, black, gray, blue, and purple points, and there are different shades in each color. The price is judged based on size, purity, and shade of color. However, under normal circumstances, the market value of jadeite is still the highest in ice type, emperor green, and glass type. Glass type, with higher permeability and better clarity than ice type, it is the most high-end water type material. In the auction house, the auction price of a top-quality glass jade product is as high as tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions. And the stone selected by Qin Tian belongs to the very expensive glass species on the market. Although this glass is just raw material, and the purity and size are not superb, but there is absolutely no problem with selling for about 1 million. Hearing what the staff said, the boss was dumbfounded. What's the situation? Although he is the boss, he doesn't know what's in the stone anymore. Otherwise, he would have made a fortune by betting on stones, and he would sell a rough stone of wool. At this time, I saw Qin Tian's wisdom by knowing the bead, and one hit simply shocked Qin Tian as a heavenly person. Not to mention the betting boss. Even Chen Mingming and Duan Xiaoyu looked at Qin Tian with surprise. Why is Uncle Qin so awesome? This is incredible, right? Ding, one of the heroines, Chen Mingming, worships you. The villain value is plus 200. Ding, one of the heroines, Chen Mingming, has increased his favorability, and his villain value is plus 200. Ding, one of the heroines, Duan Xiaoyu, is curious about you. Slightly changes the plot direction, the villain value plus 300. Everyone in the field, only Qin Tian and Wang Yi did not react. Wang Yi didn't even know what kind of glass was. And Qin Tian? I was already very rich, plus I knew there was something in it for a long time. So he doesn't have any special expressions. Instead, the system prompt attracted his attention. With the effect of 2 female protagonists, it seems pretty good. Make your villain worth 700 points more in one go. This time the villain value has a total of 1,500 points. Uncle Qin, are you too good? Yeah, I won a lottery right away. What kind of glass? Is it expensive? Of course, the fineness of this glass species, as long as there is no pit in the back, at least millions. My mother, millions? Wang Yi was very surprised. TSK. This boss is the boss, so he made 1 million in one go? As everyone discussed, the stone cutting started again. Knowing that it is a kind of glass, the staff responsible for cutting the stone became cautious. He didn't dare to use cutting anymore, but directly adopted the method of polishing, for fear of destroying this $1 million glass jadeite. Polishing is a waste of time, but it wins in steadiness. With the polishing of the staff, more people watched the excitement. Qin Tian didn't care. After the stone was polished, he turned around and left. Read more at Hotful Novel, XYZ. The boss found a brocade box for the polished glass seed and packed it up. Then he took the brocade box to Chen Mingming and asked carefully, Beauty, can you sell this kind of glass? Obviously he wants to buy it back to make a difference. Is it just that Chen Mingming will sell it? Of course not. She is not short of money. Not for sale. Chen Mingming gave his answer without hesitation. The boss gritted his teeth. I'll give out 1.2 million. I won't sell you for 2 million. Chen Mingming snatched the brocade box in the hands of the boss and said with a proud face, Are you kidding me? This is the first gift Qin Tian gave to himself. It is priceless. How can it be sold? Looking at the back of Chen Mingming leaving, the boss looked bitter, but Chen Mingming ignored him at all, and hurriedly took Duan Xiaoyu and caught up with Qin Tian with his own glass seed. Uncle Wang, can you get it for me? Wang Yi smiled honestly and took the brocade box. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Uncle Wang. After the turmoil of gambling on rocks just now, Chen Mingming's adoration of Qin Tian has grown deeper, but a lot of time is wasted. Several people randomly found a place to settle dinner, and then walked towards the deepest part of the town. Here, there is the largest loft. Like many high-end hotels, here is also divided into 2 areas, inside and outside. An ordinary member area, a VIP area. In the VIP area, there are special VIP seats. There is a long oval hollow table in the middle of the hall. There are several staff members in the middle who are helping these distinguished guests to cut stones. At this time, all the VIPs in the hall were seated, and people watching the excitement formed a circle. Everyone held their breath and stared at the stones intently, waiting for the moment the stones opened. A few minutes later, the crowd was in an uproar. Green. I'm grassy awesome. Great. On this condition, as long as the size is not too small, it is not a problem to sell for 5 million. Looking at the cut rough, everyone talked. The jade that came out at this time was green. The cut size, purity and color are all good, which can be said to be very valuable. Looking at the cut side, Su Guofu patted the shoulder of the young man next to him with a smile on his face while sitting on the chair. Xiao Chan, yes, I did not misunderstand you. The young man's name is Chun Yang, who is 24 years old this year. Although not very well dressed, he looks handsome. Hear the words of Su Guofu. Chen Yang subconsciously glanced at Su Yinran behind him, pretending to be humble. It's just a few sideways. Su Jingyang also smiled and said, Little Chun, it's not good to be too modest, so let's show it to everyone. How about we choose another rough stone? No problem. Hearing this, Chun Yang felt that his opportunity had come. After all, this is a good time to earn performance in front of Su Yinran. But just when he was about to show his hand to everyone, 5 people suddenly appeared at the door. 3 men, 2 girls. One of the girls in short-sleeved leather pants was holding the arm of the man in the middle. What? Seeing 5 people appear, Su Yinran's eyes suddenly brightened. Uncle Qin? Speaking, Su Yinran stepped on high heels and walked towards Qin Tian. Uncle Qin, you are here. The pleasant sound also attracted the attention of other people. After seeing Qin Tian, Su Jingyang also passed by with a smile, and enthusiastically held Qin Tian's hand. Brother Qin? Ha. Long time no see. Where is it for a long time? It's less than a month. Ha. The two shook hands warmly and exchanged greetings, just like old friends for many years. See this scene. Qin Tian, with its own villain attributes, naturally attracted Chen Yang's hatred. Chen Yang, who was about to show his hand, immediately frowned. This person, and Qin Tian is here. Ding, you stole the limelight of the protagonist, Chun Yang, and gained plus 300 as the villain value. Oh? Qin Tian's mind is full of question marks. Is it really special that there is a protagonist here? How many protagonists are there in this world? Qin Tian didn't know. But adding Yi Xian, who had passed from Jiangqing, and Yi Chun, who had become son-in-law, Qin Tian encountered 5 in Tumen. Lin Feng, Wang Hao, Yi Xian, Xiao Chun, Yi Chun. Can you meet 5 protagonists in Tumen, a third-tier city? As a new first-tier city in Jiangqing, 3 or 5 protagonists are all normal, right? According to various routines, Qin Tian just guessed that there might be a protagonist here. After all, my villain, plus the 2 heroines Su Yanran and Chen Mingming, plus the place to bet on rocks. It's hard to not think about it. I just didn't expect to get 300 villains as soon as I came here. This F***CK is also nonsense. Dad, you are here too. Uncle Qin, good. Qin Tian is still shaking hands with Su Jingyang before he has time to look at Su Yanran today. The voices of the 2 young men rang. Look sideways. Okay, his cheap son and Wei Qingbin also appeared here. You guys come to play this too? This time, I also came with Chengbin. Qin Shiji said awkwardly. Su Yanran was originally an immortal face, but after taking the beauty pill, she was better than before. So it is normal for Wei Qingbin to be her follower. Qin Shiji has a good relationship with Wei Qingbin, and it makes sense to appear here. That's okay, you can go and play by yourself. Qin Tian didn't say anything, just waved his hand at will. My son didn't come with Chen Mingming before, but now he is here? This situation made Qin Tian feel a little wrong, but he didn't think too much at this time. After all, it is normal for a son to be old, not stick to his parents, and to have his own life circle. After exchanging a few words with Su Jingyang, Qin Tian glanced at Su Yanran. This niece is indeed the true heroine of multiple protagonists. Even wearing a very ordinary black tulle dress, it is difficult to hide her noble and glamorous temperament. Uncle Qin. Perceiving Qin Tian's gaze, Su Yanran called out again. Qin Tian smiled and agreed. Su Yatu, you have become beautiful again? Really? Thank you, uncle, for the compliment. Su Yanran said happily. Let's go, Uncle Qin. Let's go in. Grandpa is still there waiting for us. With that said, Su Yanran wrapped Qin Tian's other arm naturally and walked inside while pulling Qin Tian. This action attracted the hatred in eyes of many people. Needless to say, the protagonist Chen Yang. He has a natural hostility to villains like Qin Tian. From the moment he walked in, Chen Yang inexplicably looked at him unpleasantly. Now I see sisters on both sides of Qin Tian. Not only him, but even Wei Qingbin's eyes looking at Qin Tian became unfriendly. Is the relationship between Su Yanran and Qin Tian so good? Every time you show up together, do you do such an intimate move? It's just that Qin Tian is an elder after all. He is not easy to say clearly, can only send a short message to Su Yanran. Yanran, isn't it too good for you to hold Uncle Qin like this? Su Yanran heard the phone ringing, and after taking it out to see the news, she didn't want to bother him, but still silently replied, what's wrong? Read more at Hotful Noveled, XYZ. Wei Qingbin was speechless. Follow everyone to the middle of the VIP area. Qin Tian swept around randomly. The VIP area is much less crowded than the general area outside, because the rough stones here are carefully selected by professionals. The color is better than the rough outside, and it is easier to ship. It can be said that there is basically no possibility of waste in the stones here. Of course, the ultra-high shipment rate is exchanged for ultra-high prices. The rough price here is basically 10 to 200 times that of the outside. Those who come here are basically high play, and it makes sense that there are fewer people. My arrival just now attracted the attention of a small number of people, but most people are still busy with their own affairs. Su Guofu originally sat on the chair, and when he saw Qin Tian coming over, he stood up and smiled at Qin Tian. Ha ha ha, nephew Qin Xian, I didn't expect you to come to Jiangqing too.
Hee hee.
Father Su, don't come here unharmed. Don't come unharmed. Don't come unharmed. Su Guofu hurriedly said, come here, there are vacancies here, come and sit down. Since Lin Feng had something wrong last time, Su Guofu has been depressed for a long time. Later, Lin Feng sent him a message, saying that he was sorry, prepare to leave Tumen and go to other cities for development. He could only sigh helplessly. Then there was no news from Lin Feng. Although Su Guofu is puzzled, life still has to go on. So he, who likes to play with cultural relics and emeralds, simply lives here in Jiangqing. Here, he met Chen Yang, a young man with a good vision. As everyone exchanged greetings, everyone took their seats. Oh, I forgot to introduce you. This is Chen Yang, a very nice young man. Chen Yang, you just call him President Qin. After everyone sat down, Su Guofu introduced Chen Yang to everyone. It's just that the two seem to be at odds with each other. After hearing Su Guofu's introduction, there was nothing to say, just a glance at the other party and there was nothing to follow. Su Guofu didn't care about these details either. Nephew Qin Xian, Chen Yang's eyes are very vicious. My ice jade is the one he chose for me just now. Hearing this, everyone looked towards the middle workbench. Ice King Green, medium size, good color and purity. It is estimated that it can sell for several million. Well, it's pretty awesome. Qin Tian retracted his gaze, and after taking a closer look at Chen Yang, he frowned and said, name, Chen Yang. Age, 26 years old. Height, 176. Weight, 132. Occupation, freelance. Luck value, 4232. The son of luck confirms. There are more than 4,000 air luck? Shouldn't this kind of protagonist who bet on stone be a dick? How could Qian be at the same level as Yixian? Qin Tian was very puzzled. It was also when Qin Tian was greeting everyone and looking at Chen Yang by the way. A young man wearing a white t-shirt, shorts and sneakers appeared in Baoping town. He came here in a van. The sky is getting dark now. Street lights started to light up in some places on the side of the road. Man, do you want to buy a rough stone and try your luck? The previous boss habitually greeted the young man who had just got off the bus. Unexpectedly, the young man ignored him at all and just walked past the door of his shop. The boss shook his head and didn't care. After all, there are too many customers like him every day, and the boss is not surprised. The young people don't know what the boss thinks. He walks briskly and his purpose is very clear. That is, the largest gambling ground in Baoshan town. As time passed, he soon came to the general area of the gambling hall. He didn't go to gambling, but directly found the manager of the gambling hall. The manager's name is Dade, a man in his 30s. Are you in charge here? The young people were calm and relaxed, with a strong domineering tone in his tone. Manager Dai frowned slightly when he saw this young man's arrogant look. I am. Is there anything wrong with you? Let your boss come to see me. The young man held his hands on his back and held his chest high, just like a big man. Do you want to see our boss? Not everyone can meet our boss. Before Manager Dai could finish speaking, the young man took out a white jade medal he had prepared. There is a strange dagger pattern on the white jade plate. Give this jade medal to your boss, and he naturally understands what to do. The young man is very pretending, and the manager is very puzzled, but still took the jade card over. After a while, gamble on the stone office. Looking at the jade tiles in front of him, the owner of the gambling field looked surprised. Where is the master of the jade tiles? The boss's nervous and surprised expression made the manager a little puzzled. In the general member hall? Quick, take me to see him. The boss of Jade Field is an old man in his 50s. His name is Zhu Wanshi. His dress is very ordinary. Short sleeves, shorts, sandals. It's hard to tell that he is a big boss. But being able to open the largest stone gambling ground in Baoping town, his connections are naturally not comparable to ordinary people. But just because of this, his nervous appearance made Manager Dai very puzzled. His own boss is so awesome. What else can make him so nervous? Follow Zhu Wanshi to the living room in a panic. After seeing the young man in front of him, Zhu Wanshi's eyes flashed with doubt. But still moving forward, Your Excellency is... Shadow. This is not a place to talk. Before the other party finished speaking, the young man raised his hand to interrupt. Hearing this, Zhu Wanshi returned to his senses and quickly said, Yes, I didn't think about it well. Your Excellency, please. Said Zhu Wanshi respectfully made a please gesture towards the side door. The young man did not speak, but just nodded slightly and walked towards the side door. Upon seeing this, Zhu Wanshi hurriedly said to the manager, Manager Dai. Boss. No one can come in without my order. Yes, boss. Looked at the cautious expression of his boss. Although Manager Dai looked confused, he did not dare to say anything, because the gambling ground has several side doors. So Qin Tian didn't know the arrival of young people. At this time, he was still studying Chen not far away. In the city, the protagonist of Diaoxi's counterattack should not be so lucky. This Chen Yang's 4,000 odd luck value is obviously a bit unreasonable. And he doesn't know what kind of protagonist is? Is it a system class? Or is it a kind of pupil power supernatural power like the eyes of your own villain? The protagonist of the system category is relatively simple. Just let the system help to identify it and it's over. The protagonist of the pupil power supernatural power class has more messy abilities. What kind of golden pupil, the eye of appreciation, can see the success rate, can see the rate of return? A mess. Grandpa Su, no matter how good Chen Yang is, can he be as good as Uncle Qin? After the people exchanged greetings for a while, they heard the Su family constantly praise how powerful Chen Yang was. Chen Mingming couldn't help but lead the battle to Qin Tian. In her mind, how good can a young man in her 20s bet on rock? My Uncle Qin is invincible. Oh, nephew Qin Xian, would he also play with rocks? After Su Guofu heard the words, he looked at Qin Tian in surprise. Because in his impression, Qin Tian has never played this before? Hearing this, Su Yanran was also a little surprised. Can Qin Tian bet on stones? No way. Qin Tian recovered from his thoughts and shook his head gently. It's just a little bit of fur. Uncle Qin, don't be humble. Read more at hotfulnovel.xyz. I believe you are the best. Chen Mingming didn't know whether he worshipped Qin Tian too much, or he was afraid that the world would not be chaotic. After saying this, he took the box in Wang Yi's hand and handed it to Su Guofu. If you don't believe me, you see, Grandpa Su, this is what Uncle Qin chose for me. This is a kind of glass? Su Guofu was taken aback for a moment, then smiled. Haha, I didn't expect nephew Qin Xian to have this kind of ability. Although this glass species has flaws, being able to produce such jadeite is also sufficient to illustrate Qin Tian's ability. It seems that President Qin is also an expert. Standing next to Su Guofu, Chen Yang pretended to be polite, but in fact he said with disdain. I don't know why. As soon as Qin Tian entered the door, Chen Yang was very disgusted with Qin Tian. When I saw Su Yanran doing those intimate actions to Qin Tian, Chen Yang felt even more upset. So now, when I see the glass in Chen Mengming's hand that is generally flawed in color, there is indeed a trace of disdain in his heart. I just play around. Qin Tian smiled playfully. It's not really an expert. If you really want to be an expert, and you can be appreciated by Mr. Su, you should be a true expert. Haha. Yes, brother Qin. Su Zhengyang followed in admiration. This little brother Qin Yang does have real abilities in betting on rocks. Even if it is me, I have to accept it. Hearing these words, Chen Yang felt proud, but said calmly on the surface. Uncle Sub was rewarded. I'm just lucky. Xiao Chun, don't be humble. That is, in this gambling field, who doesn't know the name of your master Chen? What? No matter what you say, I think Uncle Qin is even better. Listening to Su Guofu and Su Zhengyang both praised Chen Yang, Chen Mingming gave Chen Yang a blank look and said very dissatisfied. She is a little fan of Qin Tian, and she saw it with her own eyes. Qin Tian just glanced at random and then hit it with one blow. With such an ability, even those experts have to step aside. Mingming, I know you. Su Yanran paused at this point. I know you admire Uncle Qin, but Uncle Qin is a business owner. It is normal that he is not as good as a professional like Chen Yang in stone gambling. You don't have to fight to win or lose. Hearing Su Yanran complimenting herself, Chen Yang's heart was sweeter than eating honey, and Chen Ming dreamed that everyone didn't believe in him, and he felt a little anxious. 3 under 5 divided by 2 will tell the previous thing again. I mean, Sister Yanran, you don't know how this glass seed came from? After listening to Chen Mengming's words, everyone in the court was surprised. Just took a look, and then matted. Just choose a glass kind? How can that be? Ding, the heroine, Su Yanran, worships you? and the villain value is plus 200. Ding, the key character, Su Guofu, is curious about you. Slightly change the plot, the villain value plus 300. Ding, the protagonist, Chen Yang, is hostile to you and slightly changes the plot. There are many key figures on this occasion. Except for Wei Qingbin and Wang Yilaoli behind Qin Tian, everyone else can provide Qin Tian with villain value. Su Guofu is obviously a key person. His views are also crucial. However, when he saw Chen Yang being hostile to himself, Qin Tian was not surprised. Surprisingly, when the two met for the first time, Chen Yang was able to become hostile to himself. This is really outrageous. Not surprisingly, in the setting of most novels, in addition to the villain will attract the protagonist, the heroine will also attract the protagonist. In the protagonist's heart, any woman she likes is not allowed to have other men around her. This is the law, and it is also the heart request of the reader. It was like at Qin Wu's wedding that Yi Xian was inexplicably angry with herself because of Su Yanran. So the current situation is similar. The protagonist and the villain were originally swearing not to reconcile, and besides he was surrounded by the three heroines Su Yanran, Chen Mingming, and Duan Xiaoyu. Good. If this can't pull the protagonist's hatred, then the villain himself would have failed too much. Therefore, Qin Tian is not surprised. In this wave just now, 700 villains were harvested. Add in the 300 villain points obtained by stealing Chen Yang's limelight before, and now there are 2,500 points. Mingming, Uncle Qin, is it as powerful as you said? Su Yanran was also a little surprised. Although she likes Qin Tian very much, but she also knew that a person cannot be omnipotent. Qin Tian can do business, medical skills, play the piano, and martial arts? There are so many things. Would he still bet on rocks? Of course, Sister Yanran. What did I lie to you for? Chun Mingming said with a serious face. I don't believe it. You ask Xiaoyu? Little fish? Su Yanran was a little curious. Then he turned his attention to the little girl behind Chen Mingming, who was dressed up even more than Chen Mingming. Oh, yes, I forgot to introduce it to you too. Chun Mingming said awkwardly. She is Duan Xiaoyu, the goddaughter of Uncle Qin. F***K. F***K daughter? The goddaughter was discussed by everyone before coming here. Originally, Qin Tian asked her to call her uncle, but Duan Xiaoyu did not belong to the Qin Tian circle. She needs a new identity. Therefore, in order to facilitate introduction to others, Duan Xiaoyu offered to call Qin Tian godfather. For this title, what can Qin Tian do? Of course it was reluctantly to accept it. F***K. F***K daughter? Su Yanran's beautiful eyes revealed an inexplicable feeling. Because in today's society, goddess is not a good pronoun. Chun Mingming didn't care about this. Xiaoyu, you are like me. Just call her Sister Yanran. Hello, Sister Yanran. Duan Xiaoyu greeted him obediently. Although she is usually messed up, when she came this afternoon, she also found that this group of people is not easy. Excessive shots are definitely either rich or expensive, and they all revealed a kind of temperament and aura that ordinary people don't have. Especially Qin Tian, that aura on his body is especially obvious. In front of these big guys, how dare she, a little bastard, say a word? Hello there. Sister Yanran, you are so beautiful. After taking a close look at Su Yanran, Duan Xiaoyu said sincerely. She had discovered that Su Yanran's face was a bit against the sky before. It's just that I haven't had a chance to speak. At this moment, I have to say a few words, and of course I have to praise it. Thank you. Su Yanran laughed when she heard Duan Xiaoyu's words, and quickly took off her lady's watch. Little fish's mouth is so sweet. Come, when we meet for the first time, my sister has nothing to give you. Take this one. Wow, Sister Yanran, are you so generous? Chun Mingming looked surprised. I asked you for this watch last time. Why wouldn't you give it to me? Little fish are different. If you like it, I will buy you another one next time. Buy a new piece? Forget it. It will cost more than 1 million to buy a new one. I dare not let you spend. What? Duan Xiaoyu, who was about to accept his watch to thank him, suddenly stopped in the air. This costs more than 1 million? 3 women are chatting, but Chun Yang, who was standing not far away, had lost the interest in listening to their small talk. At this moment, his mind is full. Can this Qin Tian bet on rocks? Otherwise, why can I choose the glass type at once? No wonder I feel uncomfortable as soon as I see him. It turned out to be a companion? Ha ha ha, in fact, what Yanran said just now is right. We don't have to fight for a win or lose at all. Su Guofu hurriedly hit the rounds. Anyway, we don't rely on this to eat, and coming here is just for fun. Don't hurt your peace because of this. What Elder Su said is. Chun Yang respectfully said. He still respects Su Lao, especially after knowing that he has a beautiful granddaughter. Like Xiao Chun, he had never seen such a beautiful girl like Su Yanran. So coming here today is to earn some performance in front of Su Yanran. Read more at hotplnovel.xyz. What Su Guofu said, of course he would listen to it. Hearing Su Guofu's words, Qin Tian also shrugged casually. Anyway, he is very proficient in cleaning up the protagonist. Knowing this fact, one cannot rush for a while. Uncle Qin, I also want a jade like Ming Ming. After Su Yanran had finished talking with the two girls, she turned around and asked Qin Tian. Although Qin Tian gave her a beauty pill on her birthday, but that thing is for food after all, and you can't take it out any time to see things and think about people. Seeing that Chen Mingming had one at this time, of course she wanted it too. The same? Upon hearing Su Yanran's request, Qin Tian raised his eyebrows, obviously a bit embarrassed. The eyes of his own villain can only see the price of rough jadeite, but not the types of jadeite. Su Yanran wants the same. How could she choose it? Seeing Qin Tian's embarrassed look, the corners of Chun Yang's mouth were the same, and at the same time he said proudly, Miss Su, you said just now, Qin is always in business. Betting on rocks may not be his strong point. So if Miss Su really wants a premium glass, I am willing to do it for you. This is a good opportunity to be courteous to Su Yanran. How could he let it go as the protagonist? It's just that Su Yanran didn't buy it. I'm really embarrassed, Chen Yang. I appreciate your kindness. Although I do want a good jadeite, I only want it from Uncle Qin. Su, age, the wealth of the country. Su Zhengyang. Wei Chengbin. Hearing Su Yinran's words, everyone noticed something wrong. Is this a confession? In fact, Su Guofu and Su Zhengyang had already discovered some signs. I just haven't been sure. Hearing this at this time, it was a mixed blessing. Fortunately, Qin Tian had very good conditions in all aspects, and did not marry again after his widow. The worry is that the two are of different generations. Su Yinran fell in love with Qin Tian. Is there something wrong with the concept of love? But Wei Qingbin felt extremely uncomfortable in his heart, ready to find an opportunity to persuade Su Yinran. As for Chen Yang, one of the protagonists, there is already an idea to deal with Qin Tian in his heart. In ancient times, the emperor had a time when he was so angry that he was crowned as a beauty. What's more, it's him Chen Yang. But Qin Tian didn't care. Now Su Yinran has said so. If he still doesn't say anything, he would still be Mao's villain. Girl Su, do you want something from me? Of course. Me and Ming are good friends. You gave her away. Don't you send me? Uncle said the past. It makes sense. Since you said that, then I'll try it. To be frank, today Su Yinran said something so obvious that it didn't fit her style at all. But after seeing that Qin Tian accepted a goddaughter, Chen Mingming took the initiative again. She was obviously a little panicked. She also thought very clearly during this period. A man like Qin Tian is sweet pastry. There is no lack of women around. If you don't take the initiative, you may not have a chance at all. So what she said today was a bit abnormal. But it seemed that after speaking, she realized that today's occasion was somewhat inappropriate. Hasten to say a remedy. Although the last sentence is said, it is a bit eager to cover up. But anyhow it eased the atmosphere in the court. As Qin Tian got up, everyone also shifted their attention from Su Yinran to Qin Tian. One or two also stood up and followed. It seems that they all want to see if Qin Tian is really so awesome. Dad, do you really play this? Qin Shiji was a little skeptical when he came up with everyone, especially when he saw that it was Chen Mingming who said these words. He was even more suspicious. Chen Mingming is just a kid who wants to be his own mother. There is no guarantee that there are some mischievous elements in his words. Hearing Qin Shiji's words, Qin Tian, who came to the stone selection area, said casually, "There are so many things Lousy can play with. What's the point of buying a few broken stones? You have to learn this from your father. Don't know how to pick up girls and play games all day long. Picking up girls is excusable. After all, men have such a hobby. But playing games? Are there any fun games in this world?" Qin Tian expressed deep doubts. How can I play games with girls? I have been studying hard recently, Qin Shiji said aggrievely. After Qin Tian's suggestion last time, he has learned a lot now. Just know how to study. Qin Tian nodded, looked at Qin Yang next to him, and suddenly thought of something in his heart. Brother Qin, how about you try first? Although Qin Yang's luck is worth more than 4,000, but Qin Tian is still not going to waste the villain's value to check his information, because Qin Yang is just a dick. No matter how powerful Diosi is, there is only one person. So he decided to take a look before talking. Let Qin Yang go first, just to know what Chen Yang's ability is. In front of President Qin, I dare not show my ugliness. Hearing Qin Tian's words, Chen Yang pretended to be respectful. Although there was a tribute repulsion between the two, he subconsciously regarded Qin Tian as an opponent. But he is not a fool. Qin Tian can make Su Lao and Su Zhengyang pay so much attention to it, and the value will naturally not be low. People of this kind of value, if they ask you to go, you go. So what is the difference between Taihan In and Taihan In? What's the ugly offering? Since it's a gambling on rocks, it's fun for everyone to play together. Qin Tian continued to persuade. It's no good not to play. If you don't play, how can I see your ability? This one. Hearing Qin Tian's words like this, Chen Yang obviously hesitated. He actually wanted to go, because so many big men and beautiful women are watching. If you can use your abilities to make the most of the limelight, you will definitely gain a lot of admiration and admiration. Just when Chen Yang hesitated, Father Su suddenly smiled and spoke. I think nephew Qin Xian is right. Anyway, everyone is here for gambling on rocks. It's not as good as everyone's pleasure alone. I think so too. Su Zhengyang followed with a smile. In my opinion, you can just gamble. As soon as Su Zhengyang said this, everyone seemed to be interested. Qin Tian is full of black lines. Take a gamble? The plot of this dog's blood is always so surprisingly similar. Gotta gamble? Uncle Sub means? Chen Yang seemed to want to hear it too. Su Zhengyang said casually, you choose 3 rough stones, and the one whose rough stone is more valuable will win the victory. What about the bet? Chen Yang asked. Gambling with these rich men is his favorite, especially in gambling on stones and antiques. He has never been afraid of anyone. As for winning will refute Qin Tian's face, this does not exist. He always saw Qin Tian upset, and he was not an employee of Qin Tian, so what did he care about his face? Betting. Su Zhengyang was lost in thought. Just gamble on some money. Qin Tian doesn't want to waste time. You lose, give me 10 million. I lose, you double. What do you think? Uncle Qin, is this bet unfair? Yeah, Godfather, if you lose, you will lose twice. I think it's appropriate. Su Yinran said lightly. After all, Uncle Qin is an elder, and his identity lies there. If you lose twice as much, it can not only prove that Uncle Qin did not bully the small, but also prove that Uncle Qin did not bully the weak. That's right, but Chen Yang has 10 million? Yes, this kid doesn't look like he is rich. Hearing everyone's discussion, Wei Qingbin and Qin Shiji couldn't help muttering. You shut up and forgot how I taught you? Read more at hotfulnovel.xyz. Qin Tian glanced at Qin Shiji. He is Qin Shiji's father, so now he can only educate Qin Shiji. This kid is not bad in nature, but when he meets the protagonist, he can't control his mouth. Who is Chen Yang? That's the protagonist. As a protagonist, there are no more than 10 million yuan. Be the protagonist of Mao? Really? Hearing Qin Tian's words, Chen Yang also ignored Qin Shiji. After hesitating for a moment, he nodded slightly. Well, I accept this bet. With the formation of the gambling agreement, the next moment is to witness the miracle. Qin Tian guessed it right. Chen Yang is indeed a dick, but his dick is something special. There is nothing special about his ability. Just have some special feelings for the genius Dibao. Just stick your hand on the object. After a few seconds, he could perceive what was in this thing. but as a protagonist with more than 4,000 luck, if it is really just like this, it is really too low. His ability to appraise treasures is actually secondary. The value of his luck is mainly reflected in his family background. His home lives on the edge of Jiangcheng, not far from Baoping town. The family doesn't talk about the four walls, but it's not much different. There is only one father in his family. This father is a drunkard, and he spends his whole day depressed and drunk to ease his sorrows. Except for daily supervision of Chun Yang's practice, everything else is ignored. This made Chun Yang very dissatisfied with his father when he was a child. But now Chun Yang is an adult, and he also has the ability to judge himself. So Chun Yang knew that his father might have been hiding something. These things are probably related to my mother who has never met before. You know, Chun Yang's abilities have been there since he was a child, but his father never allowed him to use it. Only when he can't open the pot, he will be asked to find something to supplement his household. My ability to wake up since childhood, coupled with my father's decadent appearance, makes it hard not to remind people of some things. Although he still doesn't know what his father is hiding. But on his 25th birthday, his father has allowed him to use this special ability to make money. That's why he will appear here. Fortunately, I have recently made a lot of money by reselling antiques. Otherwise, I really can't spend 10 million. Chan Yang picked up a rough stone and cushioned it in his hand, muttering in his heart, I don't know what the old man thinks. I can make a fortune tomorrow morning, but I have to wait until I am 25 years old? Huh. You? Chun Yang was about to go to the next rough stone, and a young man's hand was faster than him. After the young man got the rough stone, he also noticed Chun Yang's movements and looked at Chun Yang. You also like this rough stone? The young man took the rough stone and cushioned it in his hand, and then shook his head slightly. This stone is not very good, so I don't recommend you buy it. If you don't believe it, see for yourself. Speaking of this, the young man threw the rough stone directly to Chun Yang. The rough stone, which is larger than the mouth of the bowl, weighs more than 10 caddies. How can ordinary people catch it after such a throw? However, Chun Yang had eyesight and quick hands. After unloading his strength with one hand, he held him firmly in his arms. Seeing this scene, the young man raised his mouth and patted Chun Yang's shoulder approvingly. Brother, good skills. You deliberately? Chun Yang frowned. The young man didn't care. Don't be nervous. I just feel that when you look at the original stone, there are some infuriating fluctuations in your body, so I simply tried you. Really, really angry? Chun Yang's expression changed. Could it be that you too? The young man smiled without saying much, and turned around and walked in the other direction. But Chun Yang was dumbfounded at the young man's back. Sure enough, what Dad said is right. The world is not as simple as I thought. This young man looks younger than himself, but he didn't expect. There is no doubt that this young man just now is Lin Yi the rebirth. Lin Yi was not a rebirth from another world, but the local world, who was reborn after the death of a certain strong man from the hidden Sejong sect. After being besieged by various sects, he was reborn in Lin Yi, a college student. Because of the existence of the mysterious power of rebirth, his injury was automatically healed the moment he woke up. After healed, in order to restore his strength, he came to this gambling ground. As we all know, there are some spokespersons in the civil society in the Sejong family. These spokespersons were all supported by these sects and collected money for their sects. And Zhu Wanshi, the owner of this gambling field, is one of the spokespersons of their sect among the people. Uncle Qin, this stone looks good? After meeting with Chun Yang, a pleasant voice caught Lin Yi's attention. Lin Yi followed the prestige, his eyes suddenly drenched. I didn't expect to be. How can you encounter such a beautiful woman in this turbid city? No. This woman has such an extraordinary temperament, no less than Yun Ruoshang in Yunyan Pavilion. She must have used beauty pill, and it's the kind with good color. Is she also the proud girl of which mysterious sect? Lin Yi was very surprised. Some couldn't believe his own judgment, but at this moment he has no time to think about it, because his gaze has been attracted by the stone that Qin Tian held in his hand. Lingshi? There is still a spiritual stone here? If you can get this spiritual stone, then your own power? Thinking of this, Lin Yi walked over to Qin Tian without hesitation. Sir, I'm really sorry, we won't sell this rough stone, so please pick another one. Qin Tian. Lin Yi's life belongs to the very poor family. Both parents are just ordinary working-class employees. Earning money can only barely make a living, and Lin Yi wanted to regain his original strength. Even if he is a rebirth, he needs to consume a lot of money. As a master, it is naturally impossible for Lin Yi to go to work to earn money. It is only natural to come to Zhu Wanshi for money. Because it takes some time to prepare the money, he wandered into this VIP lobby when he had nothing to do. There are many ways to be born again. But Lin Yi's advantage of being a reborn person is that he remembers all the cultivation methods and all kinds of panacea. When he saw the rough stone in Qin Tian's hand, he immediately recognized that this was not an ordinary jade rough stone. It's a spiritual stone. Lingshi is something used by immortals to cultivate immortals in the legend. This thing is not only useful for cultivators, but also useful for ordinary people. Practitioners can be used to accelerate the speed of cultivation. And ordinary people, even if it is just placed in the bedroom, it can also have the effect of replenishing qi, activating blood, and prolonging life. In other words, for him now, Lingshi is equivalent to giving charcoal in the snow. Lin Yi knows that this is a spirit stone, and Qin Tian naturally knows too. His villain's eyes can not only see the real price, and you can see the essence of the object. For example, the previous pebbles with fish eyes mixed with beads. So after observing that Chen Yang needed to use his own hands to sense these rough stones one by one, Qin Tian didn't care about him anymore. Open the eyes of the villain directly and glance over. The essence and price of all rough stones are clear at a glance. The rough stone here is more expensive than the outside. The true value is also much higher than outside. This Qin Tian had already expected it. It's just that even he didn't expect that among the many rough stones, there is such a message. Lingshi, 6,352 grams, value? Lingshi is not particularly unfamiliar to him who is familiar with various routine novels. It's nothing more than the stuff that the Sejong hidden clan used for cultivation. This thing should be useless for myself. But when he saw the price was, he couldn't help but pick it up. Spirit stone? It sounds so awesome. Even if you were useless, you can buy it back for Zhou and the others. But not for sale? Qin Tian raised his eyebrows, turned his head and looked at Lin Yi subconsciously. Before he could say something, Qin Shiji's surprised voice rang first. Huh? You are not the one, that Lin Yi? Why are you here? Yeah, why are you here? Seeing Lin Yi, Wei Qingbin was also curious. Yesterday, wasn't this kid still in the hospital with a bandage? How could it appear here intact? Hearing what the two said, Qin Tian couldn't help but wonder, Shiji, acknowledge, no. Facing Qin Tian, Qin Shiji was a little frightened, obviously not daring to tell the truth of the matter. But Lin Yi didn't care about this. After hearing Qin Shiji call out his name, he first glanced at Qin Shiji, then he thought for a moment and suddenly said, it turned out to be you? How could I be here? You don't need to worry about it. Anyway, you can't lose a cent of the medical expenses that should be paid. He needs to live as Lin Yi, so he needs an excuse to explain the source of his income to his parents. Read more at hotmailnovel.xyz. The medical expenses compensated by these wealthy people can just be used as an excuse. Medicine? Qin Tian frowned. Qin Shiji was embarrassed. Before explaining, Lin Yi looked at Qin Tian and said, don't you know? Your brother drove me down and spent a lot of money in the hospital. If it weren't for my amazing resilience, I'm afraid I would be dead now. My brother? Qin Tian seemed to understand a little after hearing the words. Lin Yi? What are you talking about? He is my dad. My dad? Qin Shiji was afraid that Qin Tian would punish him and immediately called out, moreover, the person who hit you is Cheng-bin, not me. Not you. Lin Yi was a little surprised. Because before he lost consciousness, the only face I saw was Qin Shiji. So he mistakenly thought that the rich second generation who hit him was Qin Shiji. Yes, I hit it. Wei Cheng-bin readily admitted. It's dark and the road is slippery, and the road is complicated. It's just accidental. No matter who of you collided, the money must be compensated anyway, and we are not talking about this problem now. Lin Yi looked at the spirit stone in Qin Tian's hand. Okay, you just said that this stone is not for sale? I just want to know, what qualifications do you have to say? Perceiving Lin Yi's gaze, Qin Tian held the spirit stone in his hand and patted. Because I am the boss here. Lin Yi said proudly. Although this is not his, but Zhu Wanshur can be regarded as his subordinate, so there is nothing wrong with saying that he is the boss here. Just hearing this, Qin Shiji and Wei Qingbin couldn't help but despise them. Are you the boss here? What are you bragging about? That is, your family can't even get 20,000 yuan for medical expenses. Return to the boss? Should this guy not be brain damaged, right? The two of you began to mock Lin Yi with just one word. Even Su Guofu frowned. I know the boss here. When did he become a young guy? Hearing what the two sides said, Lin Yi looked calm and relaxed. Qin Tian frowned. The guy who couldn't get 20,000 yuan suddenly became the boss? Is it a routine again? System, check it out. After the silent thought in his heart was over, he quickly looked at Lin Yi with the eyes of the villain. Target person detection. Please wait. Testing completed. Name, Lin Yi. Age, 21 years old. Height, 178. Weight, 135. Occupation, student. Luck value, 6539. The son of luck confirms 0. More than 6,000 luck worth? Qin Tian's heart is slightly cold. Is this Lin Yi such a dick? There are more than 6,000 chi luck value? No wonder I felt a bit wrong when I saw Qin Shiji here now. It turns out that this cheap son not only attracted a protagonist, but the second protagonist was so awesome. Am I the boss here? If you ask the boss to come out and confirm it, you won't know? Lin Yi simply ignored everyone's doubts. This rough stone has a special meaning to me. It's the staff who put it in the wrong position, so it appears here. You can buy other rough stones. We really don't sell this rough stone. Of course, as compensation, I can call the shots on other rough stones and give you a 10% discount. Lin Yi's expression was calm, as if he had a gangster demeanor. As soon as the voice fell, the manager of the VIP area came over and confirmed Lin Yi's identity in a few words. My God, isn't it? Is he really the boss here? So young? It's incredible. Everyone talked again. They all felt incredible about Lin Yi's youth and identity. Only Qin Tian frowned once again. In fact, Lin Yi has already said this, and the meaning is very clear. People are the boss here. Even if you don't sell this rough stone, you can't help it. What's more, this rough stone has a special meaning to others, because the staff has put it in the wrong position, so it will appear here. Plus I am willing to give everyone a discount. As long as it is a normal person, he will not catch this rough stone and let it go. But, is Qin Tian a normal person? Not. Not only is he not, but he is also not normal at all. He is a villain who has come to fight against the protagonist. And so, if I say, I must buy it? Qin Tian's expression returned to normal, and the corner of his mouth brought a trace of playfulness. At this time, he had already murdered Lin Yi. Lin Yi, the rebirth. The predecessor was the head of the Shadow League and the #1 master of the Shadow League. Because he acted too freely, he was surrounded and suppressed by the so-called decent sex. In the end, outnumbered and died of exhaustion. In Lin Yi's background story, he became his puppet, earning money from the world for him. All the wealth of the Qin family has also become his Lin Yi's pocket. He even became Lin Yi's puppet. Not to mention the women like Su Yanran, Mu Dai, and Gu Qingqing. So just by seeing these materials, Qin Tian knows. This Lin Yi must die. Why does Qin Tian know so much information about Lin Yi? Of course it was because he bought Lin Yi's background information. You know, this Lin Yi is the protagonist of more than 6,000 luck. How could such a powerful protagonist not attract Qin Tian's attention? So just took advantage of the time that the two sides discussed just now. He bought Lin Yi's background information for 500 villains and read it roughly. So there was this scene just now. If I say, I must buy it? As soon as Qin Tian said this, everyone felt a little unbelievable. Because in their minds, Qin Tian is not usually like this. Compete with the casino owner for a rough stone? This is unreasonable. As Qin Tian said this, the court fell into a brief silence. After Chen Yang heard the movement here, he also stopped choosing stones. He walked over with a piece of rough he had already selected and said with a puzzled look, "What's happening? Mr. Qin, what do you mean?" Linny frowned, and there was no time to deal with Chen Yang, because now in his eyes, there is only that spiritual stone. Although Qin Tian is much more handsome than Qin Shiji, he also has a lot of masculinity. But the two are father and son after all, so there are still some similarities in appearance. This is also the reason why he thought the two were brothers at first. But now, Qin Shiji said that Qin Tian is his father. So he knew Qin Tian's last name. Qin Tian heard the words, the corner of his mouth raised and said directly, "Things are placed outside here, they were originally sold. Now that this rough stone is in my hand, even if it is your boss, I am afraid I am not qualified to say not to sell it. As for your staff's mistakes, the matter of your staff has nothing to do with me. Are you trying to buy and sell?" Lin Yi frowned tighter. Qin Tian doesn't want him at all. Anyway, the thing is in my hands now. I like this stone very much, you can just make a price? Although the spirit stone is useless to me. But after knowing that Lin Yi is a rebirth, how could Qin Tian also give him the spirit stone? This is Lin Yi's chance. And he is the villain. Isn't the villain just trying to grab the protagonist's chance? So even if it was grabbed today, he would still drag the spirit stone into his own hands. Hearing what Qin Tian said, the others were even more puzzled. The first question was Chen Mingming, Qin Tian's little fan. "Uncle Qin, can this be very valuable?" "Yeah, Dad. Is this thing valuable?" Qin Shiji was also curious. "It shouldn't be." Su Zhongyang doubted. In front of brother Qin, even if this piece of glass is the best glass, it won't be like this. "That's what I said." "That is how the matter?" Su Yanran tentatively explained. "I think Uncle Qin should have his own reasons, right?" Following everyone's discussion, Chen Yang, who came over, also heard a general idea based on everyone's small talk. Linny is the boss here? He doesn't want to sell the stone in Qin Tian's hand, but Qin Tian just wants to buy it. Read more at hotfulnovel.xyz. Thinking of this, Chen Yang was a little puzzled. Subconsciously looked at the rough stone in Qin Tian's hands. Just seeing this rough stone, even he couldn't help being stunned. Spirit stone? My god, how can there be a spirit stone here? Lingshire, under normal circumstances, has nothing special. Only when a cultivator puts his hand on it can he feel the particularity of this kind of stone. But also because of its particularity, its appearance is similar. The size and shape are similar to that of an ostrich egg. It is oval, with one big end and one small end, and the outside is as smooth as jade. But it is inferior quality jade, which on the surface looks lower than other top-grade rough stones. Don't talk about ordinary people, even ordinary cultivators. If you don't look carefully, you won't see anything special about this thing. Chen Yang is because there is a similar one in his home. That's why he can recognize the spirit stone at a glance, without touching it. Lin Yi is not willing to sell at this time, and Qin Tian wants to buy? In other words, Qin Tian also discovered that this is a spiritual stone? Could Qin Tian be a cultivator? After the contact just now, he knew that Lin Yi was a cultivator, so it was not surprising that Lin Yi didn't want to sell. But this Qin Tian, how can it be? Chen Yang couldn't believe his judgment. Do you dare to believe that such a wealthy man is a cultivator? Are cultivators so worthless? And Lin Yi, who heard the meaning of Qin Tian's words, seemed to be aware of this. It seems that Mr. Qin is in the channel? The fellow? Qin Tian raised his eyebrows, and then it became clear in his heart, heh, you can think so. In that case, this rough stone will be given to you. Know this. Lin Yi directly waved his hand and said very proudly, spirit stones are very rare even in the cultivation world. Normal cultivators will be chased and killed by others after they get it. This shows the rarity of this stuff. Now Qin Tian seems to be a cultivator too. When the other party recognizes that this is a spirit stone, let him hand it over again. Is this kind of thing possible? It's not possible at all. Therefore, Lin Yi, who has not recovered his skill, has nothing to do now. Can only temporarily place this spirit stone in Qin Tian first. Give away. No. As soon as Lin Yi said this, the others were stunned again. Originally, the conversation between the two people made them listen to it in the mist. The rough stone that I didn't want to sell is suddenly given away? What the hell is this? Qin Tian ignored everyone's surprise, just watched Lin Yi's playful smile. Boss Lin is so affectionate. Do I have to say thank you? Thank you, you don't have to. When I come to visit another day, it will be enough to buy me a cup of tea. Although Lin Yi has not recovered his strength, the aura he exudes is no worse than any boss present. Even if it is Qin Tian, there is nothing more than half a caddy with him. Come and visit another day? Qin Tian squinted his eyes. The subtext of this sentence is, do you want to trouble me again after regaining your strength another day? It's pretty beautiful. Haha, Boss Lin, I don't like routines very much. What a 3-year agreement, a 10-year agreement, is not meaningful at all. I think it is better to hit the sun than choosing a day. Boss Lin wants to drink tea? I can invite you today? Hearing Qin Tian's words, Lin Yi frowned suddenly. This Qin Tian really doesn't play cards according to the routine at all? Nowadays, Laozi's body has just recovered now, and there is only a trace of true energy in his body. The strength is at most in the early innate period. Fight against real masters. Did you win a hammer? Fortunately, Lin Yi was once a big man after all. After a brief thought, he returned to normal. Glancing around, Lin Yi said solemnly, Mr. Qin, I'm really sorry. I don't have much time today. I'd better take another day. Without waiting for Qin Tian to answer, he just turned around and left. It seems to be afraid that Qin Tian really invites him to drink tea. Yeah, good too. Taking a look at the surrounding crowd, Qin Tian nodded thoughtfully, then I will let you go today. Lin Yi almost staggered to the ground when he heard this. This surname Qin is really looking for death? Ding, grab the chance of the protagonist, Lin Yi. Get the villain value plus 800, and seize the luck value of 100 points. Ding, let the protagonist, Lin Yi retreat. Change the protagonist personality, get the villain value 500, and the protagonist, Lin Yi luck value minus 200. Ding, arouse the protagonist's, Lin Yi strong anger, slightly change the plot, and get the villain value plus 300. Ding, the protagonist, Lin E, is hostile to you and slightly changes the plot.